Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army, is, as the title would imply, a remaster of Devil Summoner Raidou Kuzunoha versus the Soulless Army, which released in 2006 on the PlayStation 2. That game was the third in the Devil Summoner series, which itself has ties to the Shin Megami Tensei series, albeit this series uses a real-time combat system as opposed to being turn-based. But is it worth summoning into your collection, or is it just a bit soulless? Well, thank you to Sega for the review code, and now let's find out.
The Dark Realm is like a junction between the real...
In terms of story, you play as a high school-aged detective working at the Narumi Detective Agency, who also has the privilege of being a devil summoner. After passing an early trial, you have the title of Raidou Kuzunoha the 14th bestowed upon you, and are charged with protecting Japan from otherworldly threats. You'll do this in conjunction with your job as a detective, and your devil summoning skills will come in handy as you solve a number of cases. Let's move on to the gameplay now then, and the game is presented with fixed camera perspectives as you make your way from one screen to another, investigating a number of different locations. You'll be given objectives and have markers put on your map as to where to go next, sometimes having to leave the location you are in and travel via your map to other places, in a similar way to how you move about in the Shin Megami Tensei series, with new places becoming unlocked as you move along. There is a streetcar that you can use to fast travel to other places, and you can then investigate these places to move the story onward. Each area will have a number of non-playable characters that you can speak to. You can also use your demons and the various abilities that they have to interact with these characters. For example, one of your demons gives you the ability to mind read, and you can try to get clues for the cases that you are on by using this on passers-by, or even solve small side cases using these powers. Or very early, an easy one is to help an old man across the road with one of your demons literally picking him up and carrying him across. You will come into contact with demons that you will need to battle at times. Sometimes this happens through them being visible on the map, and you will be able to walk into them, pressing Y to initiate combat. And at other times you'll see rifts which you'll need to close, and doing this will take you to a battle screen. You can also enter a dark world variation of your location, and here again you'll face a barrage of enemies. When you do partake in combat, it is real time as opposed to turn-based, as I mentioned in the intro, with you having to take out a number of waves of enemies before the combat is finished. You control Raidou directly, and he has a number of moves attributed to his sword. Holding down ZR and pressing one of the buttons, you'll gain more of these as you go along, and you can even fuse demons with your sword to power it up. But pressing ZR down will allow you to then press one of the face buttons and use a particular elemental skill or power on your enemies. Now, I've mentioned demons a couple of times without really diving into exactly how this works. So you'll start with a couple of demons that are on your side. They are your companions, and one of them will follow you about as you move across the levels. You can directly control these two at times within the story mode. These can get to places that you are not able to when you are investigating, but we'll look at that in a bit more detail later. Let's stay with combat for now, and when you do go into combat, two of your demons will be able to assist you, and you can direct these as to what sort of moves you want them to use, because any moves that they do use come out of your shared magic, or mag as it's called in the game, and depleting this obviously means that you can't then perform any more moves. You can restore this by using Raidou's weak attack by pressing Y. Obviously it does less damage to the enemy, but it does give you back some of that magic. Or you can use heavy attacks with Raidou, and when an enemy is in a stunned state, using a heavy attack does 1.5% more damage. So it's nice that there are differences between the light and heavy attacks, and reasons why you'd want to use both of them. When fighting the demons within the stages, you can attempt to capture them, almost Pokemon style, by withering down their health and then holding ZR and pressing A. If the demon is of a similar or lower level to you, you'll be able to capture them, and they'll then join your team. The demons will use moves that you might have seen in the Shin Megami Tensei games in the turn-based sections off their own back, as I mentioned, and you can swap in new demons at any time for the existing demons, and you'll need to keep an eye on their health because they can be defeated. You'll take on bosses at certain points within the dungeons that you visit, and these certainly provide a challenge. You'll need to swap demons out to try and counteract the weaknesses or the strengths of the enemies that you're fighting, as well as making sure you've got someone on hand to heal you. When you do win in combat, each of your characters will receive XP. Leveling up your demons will see them learn new moves, as well as growing affinity with you. And Raidou himself will also level up, and you'll be able to put the points you earn into him to make him stronger. He can also get promoted and earn new titles, and doing so will allow you an extra capsule to catch more demons and have more in your party. As with the Shin Megami Tensei series, you can fuse demons here too, making new, more powerful demons and being able to carry across some of your previous demons' skills to make a character that's more suited to your needs or one that you find easier to use. The gameplay is a lot of fun, I must say. I did enjoy it. One thing I will say is that it does feel sometimes that it's still trying to play like a turn-based game, albeit in real time, and this at times can be a bit jarring. And the go here, do this new marker on your map style does feel a little repetitive at times, but on the whole, the locations, the setting, the characters, and the combat keeps things fresh enough. Now, I never played the original, but I have looked up some of the differences gameplay-wise that this remastered version has, and there are quite a few actually, to be fair. So first of all, there aren't any random battles anymore, something that the original game had. The combat system has been changed, allowing you now to be able to jump and dodge as Raidou, and actually I really enjoyed this part of the game, so it's interesting to see this wasn't in the original. You also have a gun that you can use to stun enemies, and apparently in the original you needed to collect the bullets for that, whereas here you don't have to do that. The fast travel system that I mentioned has been added here. There's a detective journal that you'll need to use for the investigative side. The sword alchemy, where you can fuse demons to your sword, is new, as I mentioned earlier, as well as some quality of life additions, such as new difficulty settings being added, both lower difficulty and higher, and auto-save functionality. The investigative side is a little by the numbers, and it would have been nice to see more of this made, owing to the fact that it's a major part of your character's arc. You'll visit locations, use one of your demons to investigate a room, something will flash, showing there's a point of interest, you'll click on it, it will give you some information, etc, etc. There's a bit more to it than this, but I do feel that they could have perhaps fleshed this side of things out a bit more, obviously in the original game I'm talking about, or even perhaps added something a bit new to this remaster, as they've clearly done in other areas. A quick word on the controls. For the most part, they're fine. As I said, you'll hold down ZLs and ZRs to then make use of face buttons in combat, that sort of thing. For the most part, not really got an issue. They work well enough, but there is one that I wanted to mention, one part, and that's that you can attach your demons to you in battle to safeguard them at times. There may be a boss that has an unavoidable attack for them and they'll be killed if you don't do it. And you do this by clicking in the stick. Now, when you click it in, it shows a green tick to show it's successful. And when you unclick it, it shows a green tick again to show they're now unattached. But this green tick goes away in between, and sometimes it's very difficult to know whether they're attached to you or not, meaning you could click it again because you're not sure, inadvertently unattach them and they'll get killed. I just think a clearer way of showing this, just have the tick be visible the whole time they're attached and then it disappear when you unattach them. Something like that would have worked better for me. But yeah, on the whole, controls are okay. Gameplay is a lot of fun, and for a game that's some 20 years old now, just about, I certainly enjoyed playing it for the first time, and there's clearly been some work put into improving some of the less refined parts of the gameplay from that time. It gets 15 out of 20. As I said, controls are okay for the most part, just that one annoyance for me, but on the whole they work well enough. They get 16 out of 20. Moving on to the visuals and the performance now then, and whilst I will say that this game certainly looks of its time, you can see a clear difference when you compare it to the PlayStation 2 original. The character models do have that mid-2000s charm to them. Definitely reminded me of something like a Code Veronica, say, from back in the day, albeit this is obviously Sega, not Capcom, but it has that sort of look to it. But you can see just how much more polished they look these days in this remaster.
Yes, this is the Narumi Detective Agency.
Hello? Hello!
Yep, I just told you that.
The kind of detectives that take...
Cute.
The fixed camera perspectives, whilst again definitely of their time, I really do love. I think they've got such a charm to them. And the locations are interesting. It's set in the Taisho period of Japanese history, and I loved exploring the different places, going to each town or more rural area, the dungeons. I just think it looks great. The demons, as is always the case in, well, Shin Megami games for me, but obviously by extension this series, look fantastic. I love the variety in them. I love being able to fuse them, and the new demons that you'll see for the first time when this happens. It's definitely a game that's aged gracefully, or has been allowed to age gracefully via this remaster and the tweaks that have been added. Performance-wise, the game runs at 60 frames per second. I had no issues at all with any sort of stutters or dropped frames whilst playing. Occasionally, after a battle, when the level up screen appears, there were a couple of drops here, but in terms of actual battling or gameplay itself, absolutely fine, no issues at all. Moving on to the audio, and the biggest difference here from the original is that voice acting has been added. And I have to say that the quality of the voice acting on the whole was of a good standard. You have a cat sidekick, and I always get worried when I see this. I'm always expecting this high-pitched, squeaky, in-your-face character to pop up. He's not that at all. He's very laid back, very calm, and just gives you advice, and it's definitely a good addition having the voice acting. Wasn't there a cat in something like Sabrina the Teenage Witch that was like that? He reminds me of him.
The Kuzunoha can't stand idly by with those things prowling the capital.
Great, then if that's settled, I'll leave the investigating to you. I'd go, but it's easier for you anyway.
It's not that simple.
No, I really think that the addition of the voice acting is a major plus in this remaster, and definitely allows the game to feel much more fresh than it would otherwise have. The music itself is fast-paced when it needs to, and fitting for the time period, and on the whole, it's just a complementary piece to the look and feel of the game. Visuals have a refined look to them, and I like the way they've updated certain aspects in this remaster. They get 17 out of 20. Audio is not quite as strong, but I do like the addition of that voice acting. I think that's done wonders for freshening things up. It gets 16 out of 20. So Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army on the Switch 2 costs £54.99, and regional equivalents are on your screen now. You're getting a number of chapters to play through for this, and it is quite a challenging game. There were definitely some spikes in difficulty as I went along. You can change the difficulty at any time in the options menu, not mid-battle I must say, but outside of that you can. And there's a new game plus difficulty to attempt too. Obviously they have made changes. I like the fact that they've clearly tweaked the gameplay to address issues that they feel the original game had. It's not just a new lick of paint, but £54.99 is still too expensive in my opinion. The Switch 1 game is £10 cheaper. I don't have that one to compare, but it's potentially an option. Me personally, I'd be waiting for a sale on this. There is a physical copy, but it's another game key card, I'm afraid, where it's not actually on the cartridge, which is disappointing. But if you're gonna get it and you're willing to download it one way or the other, it might be worth seeing if that physical drops in price at all. On the whole, value gets 13 out of 20. To conclude, Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army was an interesting game to play, having been someone that played the Shin Megami series first and has no real knowledge or nostalgia for this particular side series. I liked the real-time combat. I think I still preferred the turn-based aspect of Shin Megami, but taking this game for what it is, I had a lot of fun with it, and I do appreciate the work that's gone into refining some of the gameplay elements that might not have aged so well. It looks charming, it sounds good, it's just that price really that holds it back, but definitely one that I would recommend if you see it on sale, or if you played the original of course and really enjoyed it. Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army gets a SwitchUp score of 77%. Thank you everybody for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Please do remember to leave a like if you did. Don't forget, if you're looking for eShop credit to pick this game up or any other game, you can use our website switchup.gg to get your eShop cards, and doing so will get you 5% of your purchase price back as cashback. There are also links down there to places such as PlayAsia, and using our links and codes will get you 5% of your purchase price off from there too. I mentioned in my Street Fighter 6 review yesterday, please do give that a watch if you haven't, that on my other channel, GB Bricks, which is a Lego/hobby based channel, I've just released a video in a series I'm doing where I'm building a sweet shop out of Lego. Part 3 is the one that I've just released. If you haven't watched that already, it would be lovely if you could give that a watch. I put a card to it in the top right hand corner just to get some views on that. No pressure to subscribe or anything like that, but if you could watch it, if you've got a spare half an hour or so, that would be absolutely lovely. It'd be much appreciated. Thank you to our patrons and our channel members for your continued support, And to each and every one of you for watching our videos, take care, and until next time, happy gaming.